Okay, today we're going to look at how you can automate your consent management thanks to a marketing automation scenario. So what we'll be doing is we're going to learn how to send a series of emails to members for whom you have an implied consent that's about to expire. We wanted to make your life easier, so we came up with this scenario that's already built with suggestions of content that's already input into the scenario. And in a perfect world, this would have been done well before the consent expiry date. Because ideally what you want is to turn implied consents into express consents as soon as possible, because when you have an express consent from someone, you can send them emails whenever you want. There's no time limits, unless of course they unsubscribe. Okay, so let's take a look at it together. The first thing you're going to do once you log into your Cyberimpact account is go to Scenarios and then New Scenario. Now this is where you see all of the templates that are already pre-built into the platform, but today we're going to focus on consent management. So the first thing you have to do is select the language that you like the emails to go out in. We're going to choose English today. So this is the express consent campaign. So that's for soon to be expired implied consents. So this will send emails to members for whom you have a soon to be expired implied consent in efforts to obtain their express consent. So we're going to click on this one. That's the one we want to work on. So now you can see that the structure is already in place in the setup here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is a member can go through this scenario only once. We're going to leave it there for today. Now, if you look at the starting point here, the starting point would be what's going to trigger the scenario to start. So this one here, it's already been inputted. Consent expiration has been activated 30 days before the member's consent expires. And then you can set a time as well. And you make sure that the member language is English. That's what you're looking for. So at that point, the first email would be sent. And then a week later, the system would verify if the action has been completed. So if the person has subscribed, in other words, given you their express consent, if they have, the scenario would end there. If not, they would receive another email, which is titled Win a $50 gift card. And then another week later, the system would check to see if the action has been completed. If yes, it would end. If not, they would receive another email that's called Receive 15% off. And then a week later, again, the same thing happens. The system would check if the action has been completed. If they have given their express consent by that point, they would receive their 15% off rebate coupon. If not, it's one last chance to subscribe. So soon we won't be able to communicate with you. So that's your last attempt. And if they don't at that point, then and their consent expires, then you would simply remove them from your mailing list, because you wouldn't be allowed to communicate with them anymore. Okay. So now what's left to do is to actually go to each step that you see in red. It's pretty self-explanatory, all the steps that you have to complete before activating the scenario. So I'm going to do the first one with you guys. I'm going to click on modify the email. Now you have a choice to either keep the same content by going to edit the suggested content, or to choose a new template altogether. We're just going to click edit, because there is some information that you have to enter in here in order for it to activate it. So we're going to keep the subject line. You can modify it if you'd like. Make sure that the language is English. And the sender name, you could put your name if you'd like. I'm going to put Janelle from Cyberimpact. The sender address, so the address that you'd want it to come from, and then the return address. And then click edit. So again, do you want to edit the template for this mailing? You can either click later, do it later if you'd like. We're going to go ahead and do it now. I'm going to save the scenario as is for now. So now I enter the editor that you might already be familiar with. So I would definitely add the logo at the very least. So what's important is the content. So we're suggesting to say, we want to make sure you enjoy receiving our newsletter. If you want to continue to receive it, please confirm your subscription. And then the big green button here. So if the member clicks on the big green button, they would be subscribed to your newsletter and you would have yourself an express consent from them. We're going to skip this one and we're going to go directly to the next email because this is where it gets a little bit more complex. So again, I'm going to go edit the suggested content. Same thing here, make sure the email is in English. Edit. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, add the logo. So what we say here is stay up to date on our latest news and promotions and receive 15% off on your next purchase. So if they give their express consent, they will receive 15% off on their next purchase. So a rebate coupon. So that's all good. Let's continue. So this is done. If we scroll down 1 week later, the system will check to see if the person has given their express consent. If they have, 15% off coupon. So then we'll click on this. Again, we'll edit the suggested content. Same here. So we've decided to go with 15% off your next purchase. So a 15% rebate coupon. You can make it whatever you'd like. You can change the amount. If a coupon isn't really relevant to you or your business, you can either do, let's say, for example, 30 minutes free phone consultation. You can invite them to do that with you if that's more relevant, but you can make it whatever you want. You can add colors as well. You can change the look of the coupon. So we're gonna save. So now at this point, we're pretty much done. We only have 2 emails to modify. I'll go do that really quickly and I'll get back to you. Okay, we're back. Now every email in the scenario has been edited. It's ready to go. Everything's there. Now all you have left to do is to activate it. So we'll do that now. So just by clicking on activate now. Once the scenario is active, it won't be possible to modify it. Do you wish to activate the scenario? I'm going to click yes, but don't worry, you can always duplicate it and then modify the duplicated copy of it. And there you go, it's active. If we go quit here, we're gonna see that the express consent campaign that we created today is now active. And there you have it. Your consent management is now on autopilot through Cyberimpact, and you'll be receiving express consents from your members without even doing anything. Cyberimpact will take care of everything. So thank you for listening and happy marketing.